Hi everybody, this is Tom in front of the camera, Carrie is behind the camera, and you are watching Vehicle Visionary. Today we're at Genesis of Shreveport, and this is the 2022 Genesis G70. And I really like this Prestige version because it features the potent 3.3 liter six-cylinder with the turbocharger under the hood. And there are some very good changes for 2022 as far as these models go. So let's start off here on the front end and take a look at exactly what they are. You're going to notice changes here with the front headlights. I really like the overall design with how they flow. You're going to find something similar to that on the rear. But the biggest, most notable change I think is going to be with this shield style grille that we have right here. It just looks strong, and this is meant to help the G70 to fit in with the other models of Genesis vehicles that you can buy, so it kind of matches in with that. But just the overall look, coming down to the V right here, the way it tapers back up and has that strong, bold look, and really kind of just accents the lower grille right here. Even though there's not much in the way of that same shape down there, it just seems to flow perfectly. Gonna have that Genesis badge right here. It just gives the car an overall aggressive stance, and that's not it. Genesis has done a fantastic job with the overall design of this car, which is considered a compact and executive compact sedan. Okay, here under the hood is where the real magic is. This 3.3 liter turbocharged six-cylinder engine. You'll find the nice struts right here. Everything's very strong. It seems sturdy under here, and I like the fact that there's not a huge plastic cover under here. It does have turbo on there, so you know what's underneath. What about horsepower and torque numbers? 365 horsepower, 376 foot-pounds of torque, mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. This is a rear-wheel drive model. What about MPGs? 18 miles per gallon city, 27 highway, 21 combined. And according to Genesis, you should use 4.8 gallons of gas per every 100 miles you drive. I don't think I would achieve that, considering how fun this car is to drive. And I like the fact that, again, you don't have to go looking for the rod to hold the hood up. When you bring the hood up, it has the struts right there. We'll have Carrie give you a really good shot of those. You just can't beat that kind of help right there. That's just good added benefit. And right here even, you kind of have that same shield look under the hood as you have on that grille down there. So in case you hadn't ever noticed that, well, now you'll never be able to unsee it. All right, let's talk tire size and a little bit of information about the tires. You've got 225 40s on the front, wrapped around 19-inch wheels. Here on the rear, we're gonna have 255 35s, wrapped again around those 19-inch wheels. And something that's very interesting here, one reason this car handles so well is because these are very soft tires. So you really have a pretty nice advantage as far as being able to stick it to the road. That's why when you get onto a curvy road, this car is so much fun to drive. So let's look at some of the functionality here. We'll show you the remote, let you see what all is there. Pretty easy to figure that out. These are power folding side view mirrors, so I will hit the button right there. You can also see the turn signal indicator is built into those mirrors, and you're going to have the cameras on each mirror. So you've got the 360-degree camera, the surround view, you've got the overhead view, even passive entry with the doors. So you'll walk up and just touch the door. As you can see right there, it's actually this area right here. It's not really a button, it's just more of a sensor than anything else. But as long as the remote is on your person, well, that's gonna work. Now, in the event that somebody was to ask this question, because I've had it asked before, what happens if you're sitting in traffic or wherever you may be at the grocery store parking lot and you're sitting inside the vehicle? Can somebody just walk up and touch the door and unlock everything? No, they can't. Number one, they don't have the remote on their person. Number two, you have the remote in the car. The vehicle will sense that and automatically basically lock that feature out while you're in the car. Okay, let's talk about cargo capacity right here. We're gonna push the button right here and open that. You're gonna see that that's gonna open by itself. And you've got a total of 10.5 cubic feet within the cargo area right here. Quite a bit of space. Got the carpet right here with the Genesis logo on it. And I'll move that out of the way. Let's see if I can do this without getting in Carrie's way. and show you that there is a spare tire underneath. I know how to maximize your cargo space. There is a release on top of the seats. It's going to be on the outside. There is the release on the top of the seat that allows you to move the seat down, basically flat here on both sides. I'm only going to do one side. That's how you're going to maximize your cargo space, a reasonable amount of space within the interior for cargo capacity. Okay, let's talk about what you will find, at least your rear seat passengers will find back here in the rear seat area. Dual cup holders right there. You know, if you have a large bottle of protein powder, blender bottle of protein powder, it may not fit right there, but maybe you can just get a smaller bottle, right? Or your rear seat passengers can. But you do have a nice armrest right here to go with that. But the thing that I think impressed me the most back here is these child anchors, safety seat anchors. Normally you can pull those out or you can pull them up and they'll stay in place. Here they're just spring loaded. Check that out. See that? So that's a really nice feature. Obviously you got them on both seats back here. To me, that's just added value. You've got the contrast red stitching on the interior right here, and the matching red seat belts will give Kerry a good shot of that for you so he can show that to you real well. Obviously all 4 seat belts within the vehicle, or really all 5, are going to be red. You'll find red contrast stitching in quite a few places. And let's take a look at the door bin real quick just so we can show you what's there. It may not be the largest door bin, but that's okay because you rear seat passengers can always call shotgun and get the larger door bin in the front. Again, the same pattern there on the door. It just looks so nice. And then the dual air conditioning vents right here, but you only have a singular USB port. So again, you're going to probably have to call that real quick if you're sitting in the back seat. But something that I thought was of interest right here is the fact that you've got the lights up here, these map lights right here. You have a couple of functions on that. You can turn them on one at a time, and then I'll turn that back off. Or if you just want to hit this button, you can turn them both on at once. Kind of interesting how that is. And then I don't know how good of a shot Kerry can give you of the sunroof from where he is, but we'll do the best we can. It's not a conventional size sunroof. It's a little bit larger than that, not quite panoramic, but it is big enough to definitely give rear seat passengers a very nice view. And yes, that does slide open. So you have that functionality, but we're just getting started because we're about to hit the main nerve center of this G70 in the front seat. All right, here we go. Let's start with the door panel on the passenger side there, the right-hand side. Like I said, you've got the larger door bin. You could put your full-size blender bottle in there filled with protein powder, some snacks for post-workout, all that good stuff. But the main thing is going to be the overall design. I love the red contrast stitching and the red seat belts. It just screams performance. And for a vehicle like this, a little over $52,000, I don't think that's too bad. There is some nice bolstering, if I can get that out of my mouth, built into these seats, so that definitely will help when driving spiritedly. And why wouldn't you drive this G70 spiritedly? Boy, I just can't talk today. There is our glove box, just to show you the space in there. That's so far down there, I don't know if I can, I can reach it just barely, but there is a reasonable amount of space. And on the floor mats right here, a lot of the time the car makers don't install these when we get to do the videos like this, but I'm glad Genesis has. You can see the Genesis logo there. And then I'm gonna have Kerry go ahead and hop on inside here, and we're gonna show you what all is here. A very nice interior. We'll start with the dashboard right here. Very nice looking instrument cluster. Obviously there's going to be a lot of information that you can go through right there if you want to via your steering wheel mounted controls and all that good stuff. And speaking of the steering wheel, we've got the shifter paddles on each side, so we'll show you those real quick. And they're a reasonable size. I like that. So you can easily get your hand on there and change gears, gearing up or gearing down through that 8-speed automatic transmission if you want to. I still go back to the fact that I would love to see more car makers, instead of attaching them to the steering wheel itself, attach them to the steering column so they stay affixed in the same place all the time. So no matter what's happening with the steering wheel, the driver needs to gear up or gear down, they can just reach up there and do it. And here's the 10.25-inch touch screen that is a change for 2022. Tell me, do you like this floating design right here, or would you rather see some kind of a setup where it was kind of inset into the dashboard? And I realize that would require a lot of changes to do that based on the way the air conditioning vents are set up and all that kind of stuff. But just so you can see what all is here, obviously pretty easy to figure out, pretty easy to use. You can pair your smartphone and do all that good stuff. and we'll go into reverse and show you what the rear view camera looks like. You've also got the 360-degree overhead view. So let's take a look at what else we have here. Depending on what your situation is, you can change the camera view to help you to see what it is you need to see. There's the view from those cameras built into the side view mirrors that I was talking about earlier. And of course, we'll move down here to the one-touch buttons for everything, depending on what you want to do. If you want to see the map, we'll bring up the map real quick so you can see that right here. A very nice look, very easy to use, very easy to figure out as far as your navigation goes. And I probably don't have to tell you what everything else is here. And then you've got your climate control here. It's going to be dual zone climate control, and we'll let Carrie show you up on the screen right there how that's changing. Kind of an interesting place for that. I usually am more accustomed to seeing that down here. Tell me what you think about that right there. Although I do like the graphic right there of the front of the instrument cluster. That's really pretty cool. And we're moving down here. Got an interesting thing to tell you about. Obviously you can see you've got your connectivity down here, but here's something that's interesting. If you ever go to put your phone on the wireless charging pad, I'm going to put my phone down there, we'll let that come on. If we noticed if a door is open, I don't know if it's just the front doors or the rear, we haven't tested all that, but the passenger side door was open earlier, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get that to come on. We closed the door and it came on. So just something to know as an owner in case you run into that. And here is the shifter. You don't have a push button shifter, well, not all the way at least. You do have push button for park right there, but a lot of people are telling me in the comments section they don't like the push button shifters. And so there you go. You've got your nice shifter right there. Hand really goes around that nicely, very easy to use. And then you just got the button on the side there. You push that to change into reverse. And then right here is going to be the mode selector. There are different modes. You've got Eco, you've got Comfort, you've got Sport. You also have Sport Plus and Custom. And then last but not least, we've got our console right here. And there is an extra USB port there that maybe the rear seat passengers could take advantage of. Plug in right there and just run the USB cable back to them. So a reasonable amount of space, but obviously the most important thing to me about this G70 is the test drive. This is a fun car to drive. I can't wait to get out on the road. All right, here we go, test drive time. And you know, I'll tell you what, depending on what mode you drive in, this car is either really comfortable or really aggressive. And it's not that the ride quality is bad, but I'll tell you what, when you go into Sport Plus, which is what I'm in right now, it just changes the whole dynamic of the car all the way. Now, one thing that has changed for 2022 that I did not mention earlier in the video is the fact that there's no longer a manual transmission available. And you might wonder, why is that? Well, it's because none of you were buying them. And that's why Genesis said, well, we don't need to have a manual transmission option anymore. So not enough sales on that type of setup, unfortunately. So other than that, I mean, I can't imagine having a manual transmission to drive this car with. And I'm looking at something on the dashboard. I'll show you a shot of it. But one of my favorite features here, for those of you who don't use your blinkers, if you buy a G70 like this with this particular model, such as what we're looking at today, you are going to want to make sure you use your blinkers, because on the right-hand side of the instrument cluster here, you will see your blind spot on either the right or left side, depending on which blinker you turn on. I really like that. That's not something you see in a lot of vehicles, but overall, just so much a fun car to drive. So tell me down in the comments, what are your thoughts on the changes that Genesis has made for the 2022 G70? I'll tell you one thing, this car is beyond fun to drive, maybe more so than some people might expect. You ought to come in and take a test drive, especially if you live here in the Shreveport, Louisiana area or surrounding. Make sure you ask for Wesley Swayze, or maybe if you know what I'm talking about, you can ask for Dalton. Some of you don't know, just Google it. Got to say a special thanks to my friends here at the dealership for loaning us this model for the day, and all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out another of the videos that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.